So when you want to create an activity inside of Canva, you're going to do that inside of your class menu down here. Now, there are several options for, I'll say, assigning students. Obviously, you could have a student individually just go in, find a template they want to use, create from scratch, download that, and then let's say attach it in Google Classroom. So that would be not using Canva or the Canva interface at all. So that's not what we're looking at here, is actually using the Canva as LMS to have students be able to turn things in to you. So you're going to go down to classwork here. And then in the options here in classwork is new activity. Now what you see here are any classwork things that have been turned in by students. So I've got a sample one here that you see, and this is the teacher view. You can see that it's been turned in by a student version of myself, and it's here and it needs review so that I can come in and do that. We'll look at that in a second. But I come up here and I can go to new activity, very similar to like add an assignment or add something in Google Classroom. And then what it's going to do is we need to choose an activity as a starting point. So for example, let's say we're going to do an infographic. So I'm going to click on infographic, and then it's going to take me to the infographic templates, just like we had before. Let's say I want to choose this timeline. And I can style it, I can text it, I can do whatever I need to do to it here. The only difference is now up here in the top, there is an assign button. Again, because I went through classwork, I'm creating that version that I want here, and then I can assign. So when I click the assign button, there are several options. I can choose to assign it in Canva, and that would be if I've set up my Canva class on the side there where I sent them a link instead of using Google Classroom. If I choose Canva, my Share As option is only a new design for each student. So what the student's going to do, this is like in Google Classroom, the make a copy for each student. So every student's going to get a copy of whatever I create here, and then they can edit it, customize it of their own sort of accord. If I choose Google Classroom, I can also get that same option, or I can also get this as a set of instructions. They will not be able to edit it at any point. So maybe I want to do something where if I'm using Google Classroom, I do that, but I want students to be able to, I say like, we're going to create a timeline. You don't have to use this one, but here's an example. So that would be an option if you're using Google Classroom. If you're using Microsoft or other options, those are choices as well. But let's say I'm going to do Canva. I can put instructions there. I'm going to hit next. Okay. Then I want to come in here and I can search for my students or my group. You can see right now, my class, it's not visible to my class. So I would want to come in here like this, and I want to change this to view for this activity so that they can see that. I can also put in students there personally, and then we're going to go ahead and I can publish this assignment. And I can then go back to my home page to see that. So then let's look at some of the teacher view in classwork. So here's one that was submitted. So now I'm going to click on this. So this is one here that a student submitted. I can check this out. I can see just a kind of a thumbnail of what they did. So I went ahead and I changed some things in this. I can click review. And when I do this, then I can share some comments, or I basically can come in and I can comment on different aspects. Even if I click on specific things, I can add comments to that specific student's work, and then I can check that it's been returned, or I can return it back to the student, very similar to your assigning in Google Classroom. So that's how to create an activity, as well as then on the teacher side, kind of see when I return back to my classwork page. You can see here that because I didn't send it back, it still says needs review, that I can sort of manage those assignments back and forth.